Well, good morning, everyone. I am here with Phil Harris, who is the new Vicar of St. Peter's in Morley, which is in southwest Leeds. Great to have you with us, Phil. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. It's really good to be with you.
Now, Phil and I met, first of all, about a year ago, and Phil was thinking about moving back to Leeds. And I think we both had this sense that God was connecting us for a purpose, but it's taken us a little while just to work out exactly what that purpose is. So we'll get to that in a moment, but can you start just by telling us a little bit about yourself and the family? Give us a bit of background on who you are.
Yeah, so I'm married to Abby. We got married 10 years ago, and we're from this part of the world originally, but we spent the last 10 years in Stockport, being part of a church plant there called Glow Church on an estate in Offerton, the edge of Stockport. We've got 3 little boys, so Caleb, who's 7, Josiah, who's 4, and Judah, who's nearly 1. Coming up to 1, so lockdown has been very interesting for us. But a few probably about a year or so ago, began to have that sense of God calling us back to Yorkshire, and so here we are in Morley, and it's been really exciting to be able to sort of follow God's call here. Yeah.
And you're passionate about kind of renewal in the church. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I think God's been speaking to us a lot about the wider situation of the church at the moment. I don't know if people have seen sort of the statistics that have come out of the church in the last 6 months, but we have to be really honest about the situation of the church in this nation is not great. If you were to place all the churches in the Church of England in order as according to how many young people they have, so how many under 18s are a part of the church family, and you were to put at this end the churches that had none, and then at this end the churches that had loads of young people, maybe like St. George's, and you were to pick out the middle church, that church would only have 1 under 18 who's part of it. And that says to me that not only are the statistics not great at the moment, but the future of the church is a concern. And I don't think there's been a time ever in the church's history in this nation where we've needed a renewal and a move of the Spirit more than we do now. But God's promise I love this verse in Habakkuk that says the earth will be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord as the waters cover the sea. And so God's promise is that his news and his Spirit will fill the earth. And so what we're really passionate about is asking the question, how can we see that happen in our time? How can we take what look like statistics of death and ask God to resurrect his church and to breathe new life into the church?
So with that in mind, tell us a little bit about the situation in Morley. You arrived in lockdown, you were licensed over Zoom, yeah. I think, so it's an unusual start. But tell us a little bit what that's been like and what you know of the church so far.
Yeah, it's been a really unusual way to start, but we've also had a real sense that God's been all over it, that he's had us here right at the time that he wants us to be. So we've discovered a place where we've just been hugely warmly welcomed. So there's a really loving church family here, and despite the fact they've not been able to come around and see us, we've felt sort of embraced by the church, which has been amazing. So St. Peter's here is this sort of small to mid-sized church, and what we've found as we've been having phone calls and Zoom conversations with people is that there's a real openness to asking the question, what should church look like? What is it that God's doing? And people are really up for seeing how change might happen and how renewal might come to the church. So one of the reasons that we felt called here is this just seems to be this huge potential in this town and within this church family to see the work of the kingdom take place and to see growth and fruitfulness, and that's what we really long to see here.
So tell us a little bit about how we could help with seeing that vision come into reality.
So what we're looking for and what we're praying for is that maybe that God is stirring a few individuals or families who have that sense of, actually, God is calling us onto something new and a new challenge, who might want to come and be a part of and join the existing church family who are doing some great stuff and who are up for change, and come and join us on this journey. And we've got a passion for reaching out to families, so it might be that there are a few families who say, yes, we'd love to come and support and encourage and be a part of that. We want to learn here how to worship and pray, and how to seek God and depend on His Spirit. So if that's something that you're passionate or skilled in, then it might be that you feel called to that. And we're looking for evangelists, people who want to share the good news with others and reach out, because what we don't want to do is just connect with other Christians. What we want to do is see people come to faith here.
Brilliant. So this connects in with St George's vision as a resource church for Leeds. We want to be sending out leaders and giving away resources. We don't want to keep everything for ourselves. We want to give it away. And so St Peter's Morley is one of the places that we would love to send a team to. So this isn't a full church plant. This is more like what we did when we sent a team up to Shadwell. They wanted to bring some renewal and start something new up in Shadwell. And 4 of our young adults said, yes, we feel called to go up there. And we commissioned them and sent them out as a team to go and support the local vicar up there. So that's what we'd love to do here. We would love anybody who is watching, and particularly people who perhaps live in southwest Leeds, to be asking God and praying, do you want to send me? Is this the place that you're calling me? And if you are thinking that, then you can either get in touch with me or you can get in touch with Phil direct. His details are going to come up on the screen. And we'd love to explore that with you a bit further. And our hope and our prayer is that God will call a team from St George's to go and move church, to worship at St Peter's Morley, to be part of the church community there, and to support Phil and the existing church in that vision of seeing God's kingdom come in Morley. So do pray and say to God, could this be me?